Hi, Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain Exchange. I'm here to teach beginners how to get started in China painting, and we're going to do something a little easier today. And I'm also here to get those of you that have been painting a while to paint along with us and maybe paint some of the things you've forgotten about. Because as I think of things, I go, oh, I haven't painted that in a while. So I hope you'll do the same. On my page, which is shoppaintnporcelain.com. I have free line drawings for those of you that want to paint along. If you go there, you'll find that there are two line drawings. There's one for a plate that we did a long time ago, and then there's the smaller one, like this, that we're going to do today. So you want the smaller one. It's free. You just click on it, download it. You have to go through the purchase process, but then it comes to you in an email, you download it and print it, and you're all set. But for today, I started out by doing a plate. And then, of course, I've already done a plate. But I like this plate, and I like the colors on it. So that's what I'm going to be using for today's project. And as you can see, I go from, this is like a transparency, all the way out to a brown. And this is like a Rembrandt brown is kind of what I was going for, but it can be a rich brown as well with a little bit of auburn. Whatever colors you have, you can mix and make that border. I also did a couple of mugs. These mugs are a really nice idea. I always do two. And then they're both painted on the back as well. I'm working on an ashtray today. This is what it looks like. And I just drew it right on here, and then I took a picture of it, and that's what I used for our line drawing. So I'm going to do this similar to the plate. I'm going to do more of a yellow behind it and then a brown on the edge. So I am going to do a background on it. And I'm going to slap some of that background on at least around the leaves now, so that I have it, so that when I put the leaves on, I'm not going to be disturbing it. I didn't give you specific colors, but I said light and dark of everything. And so I'm using, this is, oh, my writing is terrible, isn't it? This is carnation. And then I have a south brown, but I also have down here, and I didn't label it, this is a dark orange. And let me label it real quick. And I wanted to try it. It looks like my South Brown, and I'm not sure if it will fire out. But if it doesn't, it would be another color. And this is one that's, I think, still available that you can get that may not fire out as much when you use oranges. So that's why I've got that there. I used egg. Egg plays very well with reds and oranges. I have a yellow-brown number 2. You could use yellow-brown number 1. I have rich brown. You could use Rembrandt. I have an auburn here. I have warm brown green, a moss green. Oops, stuck my finger right in that. And then over here I have a darkest green. I find I like to put a little more shadow on when I'm painting initially. And so a darkest green is not a black green because it's not real heavy. But it does give you that that shadow that you need to remember where the shadow is. It doesn't fire out either, so it works well. Now I'm going to start out by putting my background on with this brush. Haven't used it in a while. It was one of the ones, it's a 20, and it's one of Paula Collins brushes. This brush is very smooth, and I like it as well as my Filbert. And in this case, it does put on the paint a little heavier, and that's one thing I like about it. You see how thick it is? Yeah. The other two brushes that we'll eventually go to, I think, are probably the 1/4 inch and maybe the 3/4 inch. These are the sharp brushes. And you will need a little tiny Pico-Pay wipeout tool because you're going to be wiping out the tops of these acorns. Okay, I'm taking the egg, and I'm just going to do the background here. On this piece, I'm not going to do the background so that it has a light coming, because I want it to be light in the center and dark on the edges. So I already know that's what I want, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, now for me, it's pretty easy to put the color on. I just slap it on, use the end of the brush like this, and then just kind of pull it around. The reason that the Sharpie is running is because it's terpenoid natural, which is like turpentine, only has oils in it. And so that it will pull at some of the color, some of the Sharpie and pull it off. And that's why a lot of times I don't even like to use a Sharpie, because I think it doesn't, it gets into the paint and you can't really tell the true color of the paint. But I'm going to clean my brush to get some of that off now. And we'll add a little more. Here we go. And just go around the edges. I'm just trying to do it real carefully. And I have this turntable, which is wonderful. Now, I had heard you could get them on Amazon. So you might want to look there for one if you're into it. Now, if this happens to you where the color starts coming off and you really can't tell what color you have, just ignore it and just keep pulling it. Make sure it's smooth. The main thing is it's smooth. If you get a tint on there, that's really all you want. The next color will go on darker. And then on the outer edge, I'm going to do a brown, but I'm not going to do that right now, because if I do it right now, I won't have any place to put my hand. So, okay, we're going to switch over to my little brush. Now you're going to take yellow full load with a side load of maybe a yellow brown if you have it. And you're just going to put it on your little guys. Now, you want to kind of leave, the sides are a little darker than the center. So you do want, when you put your dark on, you're only going to put it on the very edge. And then just come around like this. You want the middle to be either white, which it is right now, as you can see on here, or you can put a little yellow in there if you want a little yellow in there. But, or you could do this. You could put yellow on first, and then just side load with the yellow brown and go around the edges. Let me do that a little better here. So there's two ways you can do this if you're skittish. You can do, I actually like putting the yellow on first, because look at how pretty that is. That's really pretty. Let's go put some yellow back on these guys. Here we go. Okay. Now I take a little bit of a darker brown or an orange. It can be either. And I just sort of put a little up at the top, right here. Okay? Right under the rim of the little cap. I'm using mainly orange. Orange gives it a lift. If you want to use a little orange on your guy, it gives it a little bit of a lift. This is a first fire, so it doesn't have to be real dark. Okay. So that's basically that. Then we're going to take, and I'm going to use a full load of yellow, a side load of rich brown, and I'm just going to do this side, and I'm coming down this way. See how I'm doing that? I start here and I step down. Flip it around and I step up here. That gives me my highlight in the middle, okay? And you can use yellow brown, you can use yellow, whatever you want. So you're going to step down on this side and step up on this side. And that will automatically give you that really pretty highlight in the middle that you want. Same thing here. Try not to get it too heavy. That one's a little heavy. Okay. And a little step down over here. Okay. Now, you can take and do a little dark underneath if you want, like this, just to give it a little shadow. That's entirely up to you. Then you're going to take your Pico-Pay eraser, and you're going to go, I hope you can see here, yeah. You're going to go this way, this way, this way, this way, okay? This way, oops, this way, this way. You may have to use more of the side of it, that way and that way. And the same with this guy, this way, this way, this way. And a little bit more this way. Now you want them to be X's, so think of them as X's and just go back and give it a little X. And if you do like I just did, and you mess up down here, then just tease it around, okay? And then over here, you're gonna want it to be X's. So exit, there you go. Think of an X. It was very confusing for me. I was trying hard to think of an X and I couldn't. There, okay? If you do that on this fire, it'll turn out really nice on the next fire. You'll be able to see them. I'm going to take this color off there. All right. Now I'm going to use my bigger brush, my 3/4 inch, and I'm going to start doing the leaves. Now, these are oak leaves, and that one, and these are maple leaves. Okay, so let's start with the oak leaves. They're pretty simple. I do a full load of yellow. Then I go in and do a half load of moss with a little bit of dark green on the very end. And I come in and I start at the base and I pull. See how I'm doing it? I'm pulling towards the base, just that much. Pulling towards the base. And then I soften it, okay? Now, you could use egg and just a little dark green, and that would work too. Here, I'm going to have a shadow right here, okay? And a shadow on this side. Leaf is under both of these. So you're going to start with the shadow, and you're going to pull towards the base of the leaf. And then here, you're going to pull towards the leaf that's above it, okay? Okay. Now you're going to add a little more color. I'm going to do a full load of egg and a side load of yellow brown. You're just going to do that bump. This bump, you might have to pull this out just a little. And then this bump over on this side, you could add a little more green if you want. How's that? Like that, there. Okay? That's it. That's it. Clean your brush. You don't want to get too many colors on your brush. You're going to end up with mud. This is a simple way to do your oak leaves. So I'm going to take full load of yellow, side load of green, and maybe a tad of auburn. And look at that. And I'm just doing the bumps, pulling them into the middle. I lift as I pull. That'll get it right where I want it. And here I'm going to have to reconstruct my bumps because they kind of got killed. That's it. Is that not easy? You can, or you don't have to, put your veining in on this time. I'm going to do my veining the next time, probably with a liner or a scroller, just because I think I'll have better luck. Okay, I'm going to do moss green now with a side load of darkest green. And I'm going to do this guy back here. He hasn't turned yet. See, I'm pulling towards the base. You want to lead with the corner you put the darkest green on. And you want that darkest green to really give you shadow. Okay? And then up here, I'm going to add yellow with the darkest green, and I'm going to do it here and here. You're going towards the base, always going towards the base. You're leading with that point that you painted with, and then you're just going to lightly brush over it just to give yourself a smooth leaf, okay? Can that be any simpler? I don't think so. Alrighty, and as we come out, I'm going to use yellow because I want it to have a little more light. And this is yellow brown number 2. I'm using yellow brown number 2 because I want my leaf to look like it's changing. And just do the bumps. Oh, I got some junk on there, get rid of it. Okay? Now, over here, I think I see where the bumps are not really there. That's a little better. Okay. Now, we're going to do the maple leaves. This is not going to take very long overall because it's a fairly simple, and that's why I kept it small. I don't want, I think I overwhelmed people with a lot of larger things. Now, I'm going to try my dark orange only because I haven't. And I'm going to mix it with my egg and see how it does. And when I fire it, I will know how it works. So it's full load of egg, side load of the orange. And I'm just doing it down here. Oops, hang on. Now, if that happens, wipe your brush and then go back in. But don't take the paint off. Leave the paint on. Okay, clean my brush. Alrighty, I'm going to still keep to the yellow. I'm going to add a little side load of carnation. Carnation will give you an orange effect. It's a very bright red. I've got this thing where it goes up here and it's not easy to do. When that happens, see how far you can get away from that? Because the further you are away from that bump, the easier it'll be to control your brush and get up there. I'm just doing the outside. Full load of egg, side load of the red. Now there I just did the egg. Do I want a little green? No, I don't think so. I think I want to stick with the red. There. Now these are your leaves. So just because I didn't do any green on it doesn't mean you can't. If you prefer them all the same color, that's great. Cleaning my brush. This is an extremely simple project. You're going to full load, and I'll show you. I'm full loading, okay? This is the full load with the yellow. Now I'm going to side load, just make little C's in it with the brown. Because here I want it to be a little darker in the background. I didn't get much yellow on there, so. Okay, I'm going to wipe it off because my yellow really didn't come out the way I wanted it to. And I'm just going to dip it in yellow and go for it. Clean my brush. Okay, and side load now with the yellow and pull the yellow out. And I'm getting some of that black in there. Oh, I hate that. Okay. And then I think I'll take full load of yellow, side load of auburn. And I'm just going to go down where I would have that middle. See there? That's where the middle of the leaf would be and the vein would be. You can do that over here too if you want. You can come down the middle like this. Oh. Just tap it a little. It'll give you a little more shading. Same thing here. You can put a little green on it and just go down the middle a little more. It's up to you. I didn't want to make it too confusing. And then here we're just going to take it to the end and take it to the end. Now I want a little color on the ends here, so I went back in and got a little red, just a side load, and put it on the ends. Okay? Then look, make sure everything has a highlight. That has a highlight now. This one could use a little highlight there. You wipe off your brush, you go and you pull out a highlight like that and just feather it to the end. Make sure everything has a little bit of a highlight. Because remember, if it's not there now, it won't be there later. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Now I'm still going to do the edges of this. Going back to my big fat 20. And I'm going to load it with auburn. Kind of like a yellow brown. It's not quite as pretty as a yellow brown, I don't think. Oops, you can't see that, can you? Let me go with the yellow brown. Yeah, look at that difference. Yeah, the yellow brown is much prettier. Yellow brown just has something in it that gives it a little extra oomph. So I'm just going to go around the edge with this right now. And the reason I'm going around the edge with it is because this is an ashtray, and I really want the edge of it to be brown. If you were here at the beginning, you saw how I did that other plate, and I kind of liked the way I did it around the edges. And I'll show you what I did to make it all mesh. Here we go. Oh, I don't know if I have my thing here. We'll just keep adding colors. I'm mixing the auburn and the brown. I want it a little darker all the way around. The auburn will give it the depth. The yellow brown will give it the color I want. Okay. Come on, come on. There we go. Now, obviously, you don't have to do this. You can just do whatever you want. You can not do a background like I did on my my mugs. Don't have a background at all. You don't need to put a background on. I put a background on because it's an ashtray, and I thought it has this natural edge to it that I think kind of lends itself almost to a picture frame look. And so I wanted to take advantage of that. There we go. Okay, now, full load of yellow. Got some green. Great. Don't know how I got green on that brush. Let me clean my brush. Here. A little of this, a little of this. There we go. Oh, I thought I dipped it in the Turpenoid Natural, but you can tell I didn't. See how you can tell I didn't? Right here. See the way it looks? That means I didn't dip it in the Turpenoid Natural. It's too running. Now, okay. So now I'm just going around and making sure that that depth goes all the way down to where I want it to go. All right, let's see here. I'm going to have to go back into my yellow and come around and do a little fading up into this area. That's all there is to it. Okay, there we go. I just want a little brown down in here so that it looks like it blends into the upper part. There we go. What you really need for this, and what I don't have here, is it's a sponge that is round, and you put your finger in the middle of it, and it will give you exactly the right amount of pressure. Nope, he's not working either. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you just have to play. Eventually you find something that works for you. I will get some extra of those sponges up here so I have them for the future. I'm using this very gingerly. And you can't see, I'm sorry. There. I'm just tapping it. Ever so slightly. At least I haven't ruined what I painted. All I'm trying to do here is to get a nice, even color around the edges. It doesn't have to be anything special right now, but you don't want any lines. That's why I'm going over the center section. You don't want any lines. You don't want it to look like the brown stops here kind of thing. There we go. You have to do this with the lightest touch possible. And I'm only using the point. And the reason I'm only using the point is because I really want to try to give it a nice even tone. Now I'm going back and looking and making sure, see here you can see it's much darker. And over here it's much darker, and there's a, there. Whew. Had a hair on there. And then look and make sure that your sponge didn't leave any odd shapes or odd color. Oh, that'll give me just enough color to get started, I think, next time. Now I'm only holding it way at the back and just touching and looking to make sure I got it exactly the way I want it. And before you put it in the kiln, look again. But if you do, be very careful, because at a certain point you can't pat it without making a mess. Okay, now I'm going to use the side of this and just clean it up, because since I pat it, obviously some of it has come off. Just checking, making sure all my edges look good. Where they don't, I can take them back a little right now. I may have accidentally touched them with the eraser like here. All right. That's how it turned out. I think it's going to be pretty. It's very similar to the way that this plate, which I did last week, turned out. And this is what I'm going for. I want it to be darker brown around the edges. So overall, it didn't take long to paint the little guys on there, the acorns, and it won't take long to paint them on the second coat either. I would say make sure you have, if you're going to do background, because they're dark colors, it's hard to get them smooth without patting them with something. This sponge ended up working pretty well. The one I want is the makeup one. It's the round one like this. You put your finger in the center, you remove your finger and keep that pouch, and then just pat it, and it normally turns out beautiful. So the fact that it didn't, I was kind of disappointed, because I'd like you to see everything the way it should go. But as you can see, you have a lot of choices when it comes to trying to find something to smooth your painting. So, alrighty, that's it. We're going to do the second coat next week, and it should turn out really pretty, I think. This is only 2 coats on this. So that just gives you an idea. And it may need a third coat. That would be up to you. Depends how heavy you paint. Alrighty. Pick up those brushes. Keep painting. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.